Well, that didn't necessarily go as planned. Hey, what's going on? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I'm recapping the New York Jets 27-12 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention you can follow on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast. Now is the time to call in, leave your reactions, and we'll get to them on the show. This one was rough, ladies and gentlemen. The defense did not come to play. And that vaunted defensive line of Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson, and Carl Lawson was, well, pretty much non-existent for most of the day. So Bengals receive, they start out with the ball, and they come out throwing. They don't really try to get the running game going, and Joe Mixon was pretty quiet today and until P. Ryan really got going at the end there. But the Jets were playing in this soft zone, and it was just pass rush not getting home, which kind of ended up being the storyline for the entire day. Bengals find P. Ryan a passing touchdown and go up 7-0. There was a play where it looked like maybe T. Higgins got in, but he didn't, and there was a review. I don't know. No one knows what a catch is anymore. I thought it was probably a big catch, but anyway. Jets get the ball. Garrett Wilson comes up with a big third down catch. Who else? You had a Hall drop on third down, and the ball was behind him. Joe Flacco was very, very inaccurate today, excuse me. But that's a ball that has to be caught. Was it behind him? Yes. Should it have been caught? Also, yes. Both things could be true. The Jets end up settling for 3, and it's a 7-3 game instead of what probably would have been a walk-in touchdown, which is a little frustrating. On the next possession, Jamar Chase fumbles. Quincy Williams, who unfortunately would leave with an injury later on, did not look good. The cart came out. He forced a fumble on Jamar Chase. Was also surprised that this one was ruled a fumble because, I don't know. Again, it's 2022 and no one has an idea what a catch or a catch isn't. In today's NFL, the Jets would settle for 3, making it a 7-6 games. Bengals get the ball back, and it looks like the Jets are going to get off the field finally in a good spot, but John Franklin Myers penalty, a unnecessary roughness penalty, extends the drive. Just not necessary. Sauce has a huge breakup on Jamar Chase. He was very good today. And then Boyd gets hit for a 52-yard touchdown. And this was frustrating because Jets try to bring the house, which I don't know why you have to bring the house against one of the worst offensive lines in football. But Whitehead came up trying to lay a monster hit, and Boyd bounced right off him and ran for a touchdown, 14-6. Flacco sacked twice on the next possession. Trey Hendrickson, very, very good. George Fant and Connor McDermott, who would enter later in the game, not very good. Joe Flacco as a statue, also not very good. Jets punt. LaMarcus Joyner penalty. Hey, shocking. Write that in for a once-a-week occurrence. LaMarcus Joyner with a stupid helmet-to-helmet call. Bengals would end up settling for 3. Good coaching challenge from Saleh, by the way, on one that would have made it 4th and goal from the 1. Instead, challenges it, ruled incomplete. So it's a 17-6 game. Then, friend of the show, Joe Flacco gets Garrett Wilson a little bit banged up. It was a great catch, and somehow he was still able to hang on to the ball after. But just how many times did Joe Flacco put people in harm's way with his passes? It was a little bit bizarre. Flacco was then picked off. And the Bengals would settle for 3, 20-6. It was just not a good throw. I don't know what he was seeing, but anyway. The Jets would go 3 and out after that. Flacco almost picked off again. You had a Corey Davis drop, and it was frustrating. I shrugged my shoulders because that's what seemed to be the day offensively. It was Joe Flacco was very, very erratic. You have a very nice drive from Quincy Williams, again, before he gets hurt. Sauce Gardner came up with a deflection. Again, he had a really good day, so if you want to do something or show some love there, it would be that. Jets would punt on their next possession. Joe Flacco, some more erratic play. Jets finally come up with a sack. Quinnen Williams and Sheldon Rankins combine for the sack. Jets would end up getting the ball back. They attempt a long field goal, and they make it 20-9 right before the half. Right decision to go for the field goal there. But unfortunately, not too much going on to start in the second half. Garrett Wilson comes back from injury. Joe Flacco strip sacked, another turnover. Fant was just also non-effective and would end up leaving the game. It's hard to figure out who was worse with between George Fant and Joe Flacco. Nobody decided to cover Jamar Chase, which seems like a problem. There was a little miscommunication from, guess who, LaMarcus Joyner and linebacking core, and Sauce Gardner was over there too, but Sauce was on the running back, and nobody ended up covering Chase, which seems problematic. So 27-9, Jets get it back. They would end up turning over on downs. Now they're in desperation mode, trying to get themselves back into the game. Bengals are moving the ball down the field. This is where Quincy Williams gets hurt. Defense actually comes up with a pretty big stop on 4th and 1, which was really nice to see. So they get the ball. It's still 27-9. It's the drive of Tyler Conklin. He came alive in the second half with some garbage time numbers. Love it. Jets settle for a field goal down 18. They make it a 27-12 game. Next possession, the Jets pass rush shows some life again. This time it's Sheldon Rankins. He gets the Jets off the field with a sack, and now at this point it's just you're in frustration mode. CBS was having problems. Their screen was blue, and then there was audio problems. Connor McDermott's in at this point. The left tackle play was still just not very good. Bengals end up getting the ball for another drive, and they just ran it right down the field. And the Jets defense had, again, really here no signs of life. They mailed it in, and it looked like it, and the game was over at that point. They would attempt a field goal, but no good. 27-12. Jets have a last-ditch effort, moving the ball down the field slightly. Joe Flacco picked off for his 3rd turnover of the day, and just like that, it would be a 27-12 final. Flacco threw the ball 52 times, completed 28% of his passes for 285 yards, about 5.5 yards per attempt, 2 picks, no touchdowns, fumble. Gross. Quarterback controversy out the window. Storyline was ridiculous to begin with. And Zach Wilson's expected to return next week, so that is a positive because we don't have to watch a 74-year-old Joe Flacco try to stand in the pocket anymore. Breece Hall was I thought he'd be a lot better. Only got 8 carries for 39 yards. Was also pretty involved in the passing attack. And Garrett Wilson was typical Garrett Wilson, 6 catches, 60 yards. Came up with a couple of big plays, but ultimately not enough. Disappointing in the effort. The biggest storyline here was, for me, the defensive line. I don't know how this line that is supposed to be so good was yet again non-existent. This is a problem now. The first 2 games was a little bit of, okay, let's see if this is a trend that continues, and it very much so feels like it's a trend that is continuing, and it can't continue. Next week, on the road, you have to find a way to beat Pittsburgh. I know that's a tough place to play. Zach Wilson's back. You have to be more competitive because this was just not great. But a little bit worried about left tackle, a little bit worried about the defensive line, and just overall tackling. Not very good. So sound off in the comments below your thoughts on today's game. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. I'll talk to you next time.
Wow.